watching corn, blowing on my Richard like a basket horn. Watching corn, blowing on my Richard like a basket horn. So you're telling me that you deal with porn addiction, and that every single time you want to go to bed and you fall asleep, you just suddenly wake up, pick up your phone and go into the hub. You're telling me that you deal with these problems and you feel like you have no self-control? You're telling me that you will walk into your school and it will be break time and your friends are playing there, playing soccer, football, and they're having food and they're the girls and you don't want to go chat up the girls. You just want to run into the bathroom and do your own little thing there in secrecy. And so you feel like you have no other option, no other escape, but to search on YouTube how to quit watching porn, or how to stop watching porn, or how to give up my porn addiction, or how to recover. And so this video isn't just going to tell you how to stop watching porn. It's going to give you a case study of a person who did it and who found religion and God, and then they stopped. I have a great friend, okay, a really, really good friend who lives in the neighborhood. And I want to think of a good name for him. Let's call him Mr. A, because he's number one. So Mr. A and I have been good friends for about 5 years now. I don't really see him all that often because we're in different schools, and so it's a bit tricky for him and I to connect. But Mr. A used to suffer from porn addiction. And, you know, we used to go out for pizza, we went bowling, and we did all these fun activities together. But Mr. A once confided in me and he said, look, to be honest with you, I did actually deal with porn addiction, and it was one of the hardest things to quit. Even harder than smoking cigarettes, that's what I'm adding in. But it was one of the hardest addictions for him to quit. And he told me how he tried and how he did everything, like deleting the apps and, you know, putting blockers, and nothing worked until he started to find his religion. And every week he would go and pray as a righteous individual, and he would pray to the Lord and ask him, he would ask his Savior to help him and to save him to stop watching porn. Because I want you to understand that if you keep on telling yourself, you have a porn addiction, you have a porn addiction, you have a porn addiction, soon enough you start to believe it. Have you ever heard of something called a non-pathological liar? Well, if you have a non-pathological liar, says so many lies that they start to actually believe them. And it's the exact same thing. You are programming your brain by what you say. That's why I'm incredibly careful who I spend time with and what I'm actually saying to myself. For example, the other day I was going for a job interview, a very, very tough one with an international company, and the stakes are very high, because if I don't get this job, I'll be unable to gain my own independence and perhaps leave or support my family and support a girlfriend in the future. That's really it. But I kept on saying to myself, I'm going to get the job. Don't worry, I'm going to get the job. And so after the interview, they kind of just went blank on me. They ignored me. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to lose the job. I might lose the job. Not I'm going to, I might lose the job, but I'm going to still get it. And so I found the interviewer and I messaged him. I said, hi sir, please, I'm ready and eager to work. Let me know when I can start. And then he said, hey there, it's so nice to hear from you. You're like my little baby. I want you, don't worry, we'll catch up on Sunday and then we'll see what opportunities are available for you. So I've been pursuing it, but it's also because I believe that I will get the job. If I believe I won't get the job, I'll ignore it. Oh, every single little red flag, he's ignoring me. He gave me the wrong intonation in his voice message. I'll misinterpret it and then give off the wrong energy. But now I believe that I will get the job. So I'm looking for all the good things in him and I'm being responsive and I'm on it and So if you want to stop quitting, if you want to quit porn, you've got to change your whole frame of mind. It shouldn't be, I want to quit watching porn. It needs to be, I'm a righteous person. My own body is holy. And I am a servant of the Lord and the Lord above and the Lord only. And what does he want from me? And then all of a sudden, you're like a vessel again. And this porn little thing isn't actually as big as you've made it out to be. Because you believe that you have porn addiction and you watch it and it's ruining your life and you tell yourself all these things, it manifests into such a large multinational conglomerate, if I can say, of ideas and a cesspool of, what can I even say? A cesspool of the devil's work. Now I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but there's a famous saying that goes, idle hands make devils playthings. I want to repeat that one more time. Idle hands make devils playthings. If you've ever seen kids and you leave them alone in the sandpit, soon enough they're throwing sand, and the one kid's taking the shovel and trying to hit it on the other, and then this one kid's splashing down the sandcastle, and the other kid wants to put a cherry on top, and he wants to make a pea on the sandcastle. Can you see? because there's no supervision and they're just bored. Whereas if those kids were engaged in the study of religion or reading the Bible, for example, or were engaged in something of that sort, then they would be doing something useful. If they were engaged in homework, they would be learning something. If they were engaged in public speaking, like making videos, they would be doing something, building something, not just themselves, but helping other people, which is the most important thing. The Lord above does not just gift us life for ourselves. He gifts us life for the sake of other men. And so that is what I want to tell you today. You believe that you can't quit your porn addiction, or you won't quit your porn addiction. You have to change your frame of reference. In science, okay, I don't really want to bring science into this, but in science, I'm not even supposed to say this. There's something called reference point. So for example, the camera that you are in is the reference point. And in relation to the reference point, I'm moving at a meter per second, a meter per second, a meter per second, a meter per second. And so if you change your reference point, you can change quite literally your speed. So for example, let's say we made this camera moving now. I don't even have to move and I have movement. Does that make sense? It's a bit complicated, but if you can imagine the reference point moving instead of me moving. So you've set your reference point at porn. And so every time you try and move away from it, you're always measuring yourself in relation to how close or how far you are away from porn. But why don't you set your reference point to something that you are deeply close with? Religion. If you are a religious individual, you can set your reference point to your religion. I am a righteous man. Porn is just there. But now when you go to porn, you're not distancing yourself away from porn, making porn the goal. You're distancing yourself away from religion, making religion the goal. Do you understand that mindset shift from science? You've just learned from science, a reference point, the most crucial concept ever that you've probably ever heard in your life, and will help you. So let's bring it back to Mr. A. He dealt with porn addiction. And how did he quit it? He quit it by changing his reference point. He quit it by changing his own belief system. He doesn't tell me I have porn addiction. He said I had, past tense, porn addiction. What he is saying is indicative of the fact that he knows he no longer deals with that issue. And so now you can move forward like a free man. I want you to imagine yourself as a prisoner in shackles. Behind your back you've got shackles. And I want you to walk around holding your hands behind your back and see if you can balance well. See how well you can keep your cool, maintain. Now, watching porn is like taking a person, a normal person who's done nothing wrong, a guilt-free person, a free man, and putting shackles behind his back. So now when he's speaking to a girl, he feels uncomfortable, uneasy, worried about his pimples or whatever the story is. Then he goes into a business meeting, and he also seems uneasy and unconfident. Meanwhile, he's a free man. You're not supposed to have shackles. You just place them on themselves. So if you want to stop watching porn addiction, or you want to stop your porn addiction, you've got to definitely release the shackles that you've placed on yourself. First step. As I've always said, you know what happens to a man? As a man thinketh. If you are stuck in a ditch, right? You're digging a ditch, and you're going deeper and deeper and deeper, and you find that you're going in the wrong direction, and something bad could happen. It could collapse. Everything could go wrong. What's the very first step to stop? What's the very first way to stop yourself from dying so that nothing happens, no danger overtakes you? You need to stop digging, my friend. If you're in a hole, you stop digging. And that's what you need to do now to quit your porn addiction.